Lego is awesome! Hi everyone, welcome to Talk and Chalk. I'm Beck, I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and today I'm going to show you guys a video about how I use Lego in tons of different ways in the classroom. I'm not actually going to show you the video in the classroom though. Many of you know I don't have a class this year, so I've pinned a bunch of things to my Pinterest of things that I did use in the classroom, not my pictures, just pictures I found that showed similar things to what I did in the classroom or things that I would love to do in the classroom. And I'm going to show you that today. Before we get into that though, I'm going to remind everyone that all the links and everything to my social media, Twitter, Pinterest, yada yada, are all down below, as well as the button to subscribe if you'd like to be notified about more videos. I've recently found out YouTube doesn't necessarily send notifications for every video, so if you want notifications, follow me on there, or I share these on my Facebook as well. I don't spam anyone, I don't sell anything, it's all just there to share. This is me just sharing my tips and experiences and advice in the hopes that it will help someone else out there in their classroom. We currently have 2 more weeks of term left here in Sydney, Australia, in our New South Wales departmental schools. I know some of our Western schools go on holidays at different times. This weekend is Easter weekend though, long weekend, yay! So my family are actually playing with lots of Lego at the moment. This is one of the creations from DC, I think it is. There's so many different ones out there. If you go into my kids' bedrooms, there's just tons and tons of Lego things that they've built all over the shelves. We've got cupboards full of Lego things that we build. We've got older Lego as well, but I always had boxes of Lego in the classroom because it's just so much fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera, I'm going to go to my Pinterest page and show you the Lego board that I've created, and I'm going to talk to some of the pictures just to kind of give you a bit of perspective on how they can be used. Lego is great because it's good for fine motor, it's good for hand-eye coordination, it's good problem solving, it's fun, which means we talk about our problems, we collaborate. It works with all of our learning modes. You can do it independently, you can do it in pairs, you can do it in a group, you can do it guided, you can do it explicit. There's no end to what you can do with it. I love the fact that it can be applied to different scenarios. So if you're someone who's using Minecraft, it really works well with that. And I have something on the board to show you how that can link in with that as well. But it also goes for any age. I'm pretty sure, I haven't got a box on me, but I'm pretty sure it says like 0 to 99 years of age for Lego because everyone loves it. You get Lego out at a family gathering and I guarantee you the kids, the parents, the grandparents, aunties and uncles will all get in on it as well. And it's the same in the classroom. It's an automatic draw card. You just need to make sure that you're using it with good purpose and meaning so that it's not just random play. Random play is still good as well, but you know, in a classroom where time poor, we don't have too much time for random play. It's always good if we've got some kind of specific focus when we're using it. So I'm going to flip around, I'm going to go to the Pinterest board and then we'll come back. So if you're looking for me on Pinterest, this is what my page looks like, and my most recent one that I've put together is the Lego board. So these are in no particular order, so I'm just going to go through them randomly. So you can see here, this is a 3D Lego design. It's not a flat 2D design that you would normally see when you're creating things, and that's just cupcakes and ice blocks there. They kind of look like the Splice ice blocks, which are good. This is really good, obviously, if you're doing the difference between 2D shapes and 3D shapes. You know, you want to get that sense that it's actually a solid. This could also work if you're doing, I guess, healthy and unhealthy eating. I like this one because they're not actually building with it. They've turned the Lego pieces around to push into Play-Doh to create words there. And this is good too because you get that sense of size. So they've obviously, whoops, I've just tapped it there. You get that sense that, you know, that had to be a short bit there and then that's a long bit over the side there, and that you can make an O with straight lines even though that, you know, an O would normally have a curved shape. Here's like the Minecraft one I was talking about. So this will come into play in for science there when you're talking about those layers that we have in the earth and those levels that we're talking about, you know, if you're doing agriculture or anything like that. And it's just got a Minecraft Steve there on top. And all they've done is they've used green and different browns and different grays. So really the only Minecraft piece on there is the Steve. You don't need that to link it back into Minecraft. And you know, most kids love Minecraft. Over here you can see one of the 3 little pigs that's had his house built out of bricks, and you could go into so much detail with that. You could go outside and get sticks to do the sticks part, and then you could build this one using the bricks and show the difference. And then if you wanted to get a hairdryer and try and blow them down, or even get the kids to just, you know, breathe on it and try and blow it down, talk about the different designs. You know, is there enough room in there? Could we make it bigger? Could it be 2-story? How would you build that? They could draw the designs. There'd be a mathematics lesson in there as well. Here's a STEM activity. And I did mention in my STEM video before that I love making catapults, and this is Lego. It looks like they've used candy pieces there, and then an elastic band. Another STEM challenge there is the Lego balloon car. So this one, obviously you need the wheels to be able to do that, but you know, the idea being is that they don't just go and build and have a balloon. They should be problem solving, they should be estimating what they need to do. They should be drawing up their materials, what they're trying to do, how far would it go, and then estimating what will actually happen when they put it together. Over here we've got another sort of layout that you could be doing. Maybe if you're doing natural and built features, you could create those natural and built features and talk about the differences between those. And I'm just going to move down here. I like these ones because these ones really mean that you have to like draw out a plan beforehand. So these are just the marble runs, and you can use these with straws. Cut the straws, or if you've just got the plain bases there, you use the Lego pieces to create a maze, and then the kids have kind of got to tilt it and move it around to escape the maze. Okay, so scrolling down a little bit more. This is good, so you can just have the days of the week or months of the year or anything that requires sequencing, and then the kids can stick them together, which I think I put down here, so they can stick them together there to put something in order of sequence. And I like this because you don't just have to do it top to bottom. You could do it, bottom to top. Show me the days of the week backwards. Show me numbers backwards. Show me, whatever, anything that you're working on there. Creating words. I like this one again, like I mentioned above, because it shows that, words, can be seen even if they're not following those patterns, like an O always being round. There's Lego Challenge calendars out there, and there are so many of these. If you just Google Lego Challenge or Lego tasks, and you'll find heaps of stuff on Google. Place value. So you just need a texter, whether it's permanent or whiteboard. The kids could use a whiteboard marker and just wipe it off with a baby wipe and create numbers using the place value there. So you can see 1,347, we've got 1,347, and they can lay them out. Now this is using Duplo, but I mean you could do this with Lego as well. This one's a Lego Minecraft number line game, so I'll see if I can get a bit close enough there for you to see that. They've laid them out there using the Minecraft pieces, and really it just looks like Minecraft. That's the only appeal about it. There's nothing extra special other than it looks like something from Minecraft. We've got numeracy activities here, so you can add the correct number next to each problem. So you're thinking this is 6 plus 6 equals, this is 6 plus 12, and you can see that there's a few different steps in here. They're going to have to figure out what that is, or know their times tables, or know their number patterns, or know repeated addition to be able to do those ones. And there's heaps of those ones out there, and the kids can create their own. You don't have to set this out for them. You can show them this and then tell them they're going to go off and create some of their own. They can lay it out on a whiteboard and get a partner to complete it. Okay, going down here. Number patterns. Oops, sorry. So just coordinating numbers. So numbers. Oh my gosh, I'm too excited. Colors. Colors. So you can see they would have been given a big pile of mixed up colors, and they've got to sort them into blue, orange, yellow. And you can do that with any of them, and you don't have to have sheets to do that. You just get a color thing out that they have to match it to. Find the orange pencils and match them with orange Lego blocks. This one is what's greater or smaller, greater than or less than. So they can get some number cards out. They can get some number cards out, and then they've got to put it with the symbol, whether it's greater than or less than, and then they build it to show visually which one is greater, which one is less than. Okay, making some towers here. So this one's looking at using it for fractions. I'm just trying to focus my phone there. So give them a fraction, they've got to create it using the Lego. You could make scales out of Lego, so that's looking at what's heavier, what's lighter. We're using area to measure area there. I like this one. This one really shows fractions really well. So fractions there, and some more letters there, making sight words. I'm going to keep taking you through some more. Let's just scroll up a little bit here. Sorry, this keeps going blurry for some reason. I'm just trying to focus it. There we go. So you can see we've got patterning over here. So it goes green, green, blue, blue, green, green, blue, blue, red, white, red, white, red, white, yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, yellow, blue. You might have these somewhere on a card or whatever and they need to copy it, or they can create their own patterns, copy them into their book, do it on the whiteboard. Different kind of pattern though, moving up. How many blocks should the next tower be? So obviously this is only increasing by 1, so you would expect the next tower to be 4. But you could use this to work on your pattern. So if you're counting by 3s, counting by 4s, or if you've got, you know, those older classes, you might be doing how this would go up 1, this would go up by 2, this one would go up by 3, this one would go up by 4, and keep moving up that way. Okay, I'm just going to come back up now. So those are just some examples of things that I've used Lego for in the classroom. I did Lego activities for Christmas where I asked the kids to design all different Christmas ornaments, and if you want to scroll back, I'm sure you'll find that in my Christmas video that I did term 4 last year. There really is no end to it. I sound very excited about it because I love it. This isn't a paid advert. Lego doesn't send me anything or give me anything. I just use it, and anyone who's worked with me knows how much I love using Lego. My kids know how much I love using Lego. We went to the Lego store at Dreamworld and it was just kid in a candy store kind of thing. Just the things that you could see there and how amazing it looked, and all of the new Batman stuff and comic stuff is really, really cool. Kids like this stuff. Unfortunately, Lego can get expensive, especially when you're buying enough to fill up a classroom. I've found that if you jump on the Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree, there's often people selling just old bags of it. Sometimes there's people willing to give it away for free because they don't like it. It doesn't happen very often. The hardest things to get are the bases. So that's going to be an issue if you're trying to stock for a classroom you don't have any, and if your activities surround needing the base. So if you can source those pretty cheap, or if you can find some way in the school budget to be able to get them, I highly recommend like prioritizing, you know, some space for those bases, because some of those things that you want to build will absolutely need them. There's also the Lego robotics kits. You can do coding, you can make things that move, that have machinery, and they're just so much fun. I keep saying that, I know I keep saying that, it's too exciting. I think I must be enjoying the long weekend too much. So you can see there's literacy, there's numeracy, there's science, there's so many ways that you can apply it. You could create a building if you're working on, you know, something in your school, on games. You could create a game space using the Lego first and then design a way that you're going to use that in the field. So, you know, if you want to create a new handball court, you've got Lego pieces there, let's design a new handball court. What would the rules be that go with that? Tie it in with your literacy, tie it in with your health, relationships, those areas that you could work on that really go into, you know, how you're going to play together, how you're going to use this to be able to do that. It's not just a fad thing that you're making for the sake of making. These things tie in with it, and it's so good to be able to get something hands-on, especially as you go up through the grades too, because we find things, any of our areas of study, sometimes we lose that hands-on approach to things, just depending on the context of what it is. And Lego is a good way to just tie that back into it. It's really good for students with additional needs. It's good for those gifted and talented students who are really good at problem solving and mapping out those things in their head, because then they can put it into something tangible that they can put down and explain it to the rest of the class. You can make stop motion animation videos with Lego, tell stories, use the green screen on the Lego as well. And really, you just need to Google. I'm not an expert on using it. Anything I've done has been because I just love using Lego, and I go to Google. Like all that stuff I found, you know, on Pinterest. I was just looking for things that I had done in the classroom before, ways that I'd use it to be able to show you guys. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put, like I said, all my links and everything are below. I'm going to put my button down here. So if you like this video and you'd like to subscribe and see more, you just hover over that and you can subscribe. I'll put one of my other videos at the top there. And if you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate a thumbs up, or drop a comment below about what you like to do with Lego. Thanks guys. Bye.